Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Speak the Game. A lot has happened this week. What are you laughing for?
Hello.
I've not even
I like
started.
the hello. Yeah.
I'm laughing at what's to come.
Yeah, I know what's coming. Right? Yeah, we just cut his mic off, right? It's going to be a painful episode for you, but I think it's going to be a painful episode for quite a few of us because quite a few of us made ballsy statements. Well, mostly me made ballsy statements last week.
State names.
Yeah, look, I'm just going to start off by saying I said Liverpool won the League Cup. Liverpool won the League Cup, right?
What did you say about Van Dijk?
Jurgen's my guy.
What did you say about Van Dijk? Because the comments will come off your head.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
right? I just don't think it was that good a season. Obviously,
And he's sticking to
obviously,
it as well.
listen. If they play better when I hate them, then fine. Sometimes people need to play better. Do you know what I mean?
And then
If
he
it can
scores
work for
twice.
Pep, it can work for me. I've turned this. If anything, I've turned this season around.
What, for Van Dijk?
Yeah, it's me single-handedly that have done it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to take you that.
Yeah, that sounds a valid point.
All right, buddy.
Okay.
Oh,
Also,
no, anyway.
so obviously Liverpool have won the League Cup. How do we feel about that?
The worst day of
Deserved.
my life.
Would you say?
I say it's the worst day of my life.
Really?
Seeing
I
them
mean-
win anything is the worst day of my life.
This quadruple chasing thing.
It's the most outrageous thing I've ever heard in my life.
You've won the League Cup against Chelsea. Humble, right? Be humble. Celebrate your little trophy. Get up the tunnel, right? Over you, Emma. How do you feel about it?
Because the thing that's funny as well is if they would have lost, it'd have been like, no Salah, no Trent, no Shabazlai, no who else?
Allison.
Yeah,
I'm
literally.
glad you're
Yeah.
pronouncing these names because I have an atrocious ability at pronouncing names.
Hey, you've butchered a couple. But I would say, yeah, obviously not great. But I would actually maybe prefer Liverpool winning this than Chelsea. Only reason being, wait, hear me out. Imagine us and Chelsea are like the doggo top teams right now. So imagine
You
if,
complimented yourself a little bit there, but that's okay.
but imagine if Chelsea win something
Just
this
say
year.
doggo
What we
teams,
did.
take off the top.
Nah, I don't.
That's what,
You
Man
you
says-
forget where you've come from,
Listen,
right? Two
man
little
says
good
my
seasons.
same
And now
joke.
you're
Oh,
Oh,
Just
all
right
right,
now.
I'm going to bring you history lessons again. Yeah, here we go.
Listen, yeah. You guys ain't it yet.
Hey.
All right. So you're still just challenging.
Manchester is blue, yeah? And we'll get onto that later.
They're still rebuilding.
anyway,
Yeah,
you prefer
exactly.
Liverpool would win the cup because Chelsea are in a similar situation.
Because they're doggo, we're doggo. And I'm thinking, if they were to win, if Chelsea were to win it, I know Chelsea fans will just be piping up, yada yada da.
Not Chelsea fan.
Yeah, as an Arsenal fan,
Yeah.
the man pipes up and they don't win anything.
But I feel, yeah, he does. I feel like with Liverpool, it could be like what's it called? The only trophy that they win this season,
That would make it fun.
and that would make it funny. It's like Klopp's like Hail Mary, and they win a little energy drink cup.
Listen, you weren't calling that a little energy drink cup when it was the only thing you
Yeah,
had last week.
Yeah, but when we win it, it's different.
Yeah. When we win it, it brings some reputation
Yeah,
back
no,
to it.
honestly, that's just the best cup going.
Take away your hate for Liverpool, right? As a football fan, that was football heritage from Klopp, right? The coaching, obviously, his big hitters are out to bring in, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, and to still take Chelsea.
Still
Chelsea.
Liverpool players. Like, they're still going to be of a decent quality. Yeah, I get.
Yeah, I
they're
know,
going-
but-
they're also going against a Chelsea team that has played horrendously poor
Pretty much all season.
all season. And yeah, they got a draw against Man City, but Man City have been poor.
Oh,
Anyway, let's
that's
move on.
another horrendous take.
Ah,
Being poor.
compared by their standards.
Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that.
I'm
One
not-
point-
I'm not
one point
suggesting-
away from like being.
Like I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting that they've
It's
been
man.
abysmal. I
It's
mean,
man.
by does anyone think City's hit the height that we know City to have?
I know. What was that stat you said? They E-rated. They've scored 3 goals in 3 games, while you've scored 14 and Liverpool scored 11. So in
But
terms
still
of like
dubs.
the scoring prowess, which you expect from City,
Yeah.
hasn't been there. But defensively, they've been solid.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening with Haaland.
I think they won.
Like he's obviously he's still bagging, but there's a couple chances where you're thinking
Against Chelsea,
Chelsea,
But,
and
like,
also
any
against
other-
Burnley.
Yeah.
I was like, what's this about?
It's the first season. He set the bar way too high. So like, obviously, to try and replicate that again in the second season was always going to be a difficult one.
Yeah, teams also just get used to playing against them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you start to figure out, like the first team to play against them, you don't really know you're coming up. Is he going to come in strong? Is he going to be fast? Is he going to try and get in behind? Like how is he going to play? And then teams are eventually going to start to get the idea of how he plays and how to play against it.
Also fatigue as well. I mean, they went for how many games last season? to win the treble. It's like when Liverpool tried to do the quadruple like a couple seasons ago as well. The season after, you could see that
They got the FA
they were
Cup.
just
League
knackered.
But this
I mean,
man's
still
had
2
2
cups.
months off. He should be
Yeah.
all right.
I mean,
True.
to be fair, speaking about another striker, I feel like we talk about this all the time of Mbappe going to Real Madrid. I feel like it comes up all the time. I think we've always, every week we're hearing a confirmation of he's done it, he's signed it, like it's going to happen. But this time, it actually feels like it's happened.
Yeah.
And then there's a crazy sign-on bonus that's allegedly part of it.
160 million.
Do you know what I mean?
Outrageous.
Real Madrid were probably thinking, well, we're getting him on a free. Mbappe's going, oh, they're getting me on a free. That is ridiculous. Is any player worth that signing on bonus?
Deserved.
So I think maybe, you know what, Real Madrid aren't silly. Yeah, they wouldn't spend that money unless they feel like it's value. And I think what I was kind of reading something, and it's not just in terms of like what Real Madrid get in terms of a top player and the likeness that Mbappe brings in terms of eyes on Real Madrid, and the shirt sales, and all the likeness that Real Madrid can use to get some returns from the 160 million. But I think in the wider context as well is it's going to bring eyes back onto La Liga because of how many superstars have left in recent times. So obviously you've had the likes of Ronaldo, you've had the likes of Messi leaving. What's that?
Smart move. Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Yeah. So it's like, I think not only is that 160 M is like kind of deserved, but also I think a lot of La Liga teams are like, yeah, well, bring him in because it's going to bring eyes to us. And maybe we could start getting more revenue in the La Liga.
So it benefits all of Spanish football that Mbappe goes to Real Madrid.
I mean,
Atletico Madrid are like, this is great. One of our key rivals is about to score an absolute baller. This is perfect for us.
Yeah. Well, maybe not in terms of like the competition, because obviously Real Madrid, it just looks like they've assembled the Avengers of football. But in terms of like La Liga being able to compete with the Premier League, La Liga teams being able to compete with the Premier League in buying players like the other teams.
In terms of like obviously Jude, Mbappe, and all them kind of players moving to La Liga, is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess my question for you then, if Mbappe goes to Real Madrid and Real Madrid become crazy dominant, is that going to bring more revenue to Spanish football? Are people going to watch it? Like what happened to Germany with Bayern Munich winning it constantly? Like, does anyone actually pay attention to it? Well, now this season we do because Leverkusen are obviously challenging and people are now turning their attention to it because Bayern's dominance looks like it's about to get broken.
Bit different.
But then if Real Madrid are cleaning up La Liga every season, is that going to bring revenue to them? Are people going to pay attention to it?
I don't personally think, even with Mbappe, I don't know if they'll still clean up as much because in the last 20 years, I think they've only won the league 5 times. Around about that figure.
Before someone comes to my head, I'm not saying that.
In terms of the Champions League is where we know them being the most dominant. I mean, what is it now? 14 Champions Leagues?
Well, that's disgusting.
Maybe 15 this year.
Some teams haven't even won that many league titles.
So I think second place is like 7, isn't it? It's AC Milan.
Yeah.
Real Madrid have won 14 league titles.
Yeah, like double.
14 Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
Liverpool have 1 league title. That is
astronomical figures.
Wild.
Yeah.
What 14? Is it 14?
Yeah.
14 Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
Do you think Mbappe will be that dominance that kind of gives Real Madrid that, right, like we've got what we needed
It's
now.
the next
Like,
14.
we've got the jigsaw, we've got everything completed, we've got the whole sequence complete and ready to go.
100%. Literally, the first season he joins Real Madrid, if he doesn't win Champions League, is a bust for me. I'm like, what else you go to Real Madrid for? Like, you're a World Cup winner, you've got a couple league titles, leagues more or less are given for you now because Barcelona and like Barca. Like, yeah.
The thing is as well, if you look at their youth moving forwards now, you got Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Mbappe.
The left back as well, Fran Garcia.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm talking about, is he a left? Yeah, I think he is a left back. Also, Alphonso Davies might be joining.
And then it's unlocked.
Yo,
like,
you're right back, yeah? Like, you got Vinny here, and then Alphonso Davies.
Yeah, I know. Like, honestly, that's a long day for anyone going against them, even Man City.
Yeah.
Imagine Rangers against Madrid.
No, because he's going to say
JT.
Big time.
Big JT.
He'll just lock all
Come
three
to
of
your
them up.
box.
See, when you're good, you tell people. When you're great, people tell you. That's all that's happening here. Right? You're jealous of the right back. I get it. Man's on, 19 goals this season from right back. Cool. Your whole joke team
Rangers
can't even
won 5.
muster
Was it 5
19
you guys won this weekend?
5-0.
And not one penalty. Wow.
JT didn't score, though. We don't need to.
Did anyone see what's his name? The new guy for United who's just taken over
Jim
25%. Yeah, Jim Ratcliffe. So
Yeah, it just became official.
did you see the article and the comment he made? So he basically came out and said his plan moving forward is to get United to knock Man City off their perch. To get United to knock City off their perch within the next 3 seasons.
That's all right. Ten Hag said, these
Errors
errors
come
have
to
to come to an end.
And then City in trouble.
Yeah. His era's not started really, but
Obviously, me and Aim are United fans, so your two opinions will probably be the complete opposite, or maybe they will be the same. But what do you two think of that comment?
I think, look,
Actions speak louder than words. I'm tired of hearing all this stuff about, we're here to do this, we're do that. Until we see it, cool, say what you want, but eras came to an end. I'm still waiting to see what.
yeah, Jurgen's contributed more to that era coming to an end by leaving than Man United have done.
It's just a silly comment because he's not going to come in and say the opposite. So it's like, well,
Yeah, no, I
obviously he's
get.
going to
I
say
think,
that kind of stuff.
Early doors I've seen positive. You've brought in people from City, you're bringing in people from Newcastle, as in the back team.
Yeah.
So all the moves seem positive in terms of the staff. In terms of the playing squad, I think there's a lot.
That's what worries me, because you're making positive moves, like obviously with the staff and stuff, but then next season, are we going to still see like the McTominays, the Maguires, all these men, like the Lindelofs?
Rashford?
Don't get started, that man.
Rashford. Even
ship
that man
man to
doesn't
Saudi.
respect your club.
Listen, I'm going to defend Rashford. Not this season.
Don't-
I
don't-
know. People are going to come at my head. All right, this season, obviously not great. But Rashford is a yo-yo player. So I'm hoping this season, written off, next season, 40 goals.
350k, you want him to write off.
350k
And I'm telling
because
you,
you might
next
get
season,
one season.
30 plus goals. Going to do
Has he ever done 30 plus goals?
He's going to get back with his misses, 30 plus goals, 15 assists, and we're going to be challenging.
Yeah,
for the champ.
assuming that he manages to not stumble into Northern Ireland or Republic of Ireland for a night out.
I mean, did you
Mrs.
see him
Sanchez.
tracking the back against Luton the other day? In the 93rd minute.
Good.
Actually,
Ross
and then
Barkley-
you started him.
Yeah.
the week
When Ross
after.
Barkley was in central midfield,
Yeah,
the
that
93rd
was-
minute, and with
yeah.
2-1 up, and obviously they're on the attack, like absolutely going for it, and he just goes around him like it's like some kind of game in the nursery or something. It's just like,
He knows that, like, the way your squad's set up, his spot's like safe.
I'm sorry, but
He's
you're not
spot safe,
getting
he
my
knows.
squad. I don't care if I have to go down to 10 men. I'm not playing Rashford.
I just don't know what he has
It's
to
just
do
such
to
a
not.
waste.
I don't know what he has to do to not get in the team. I don't understand.
Die, evidently. And even then, you probably play his corp. At the back.
Literally.
I mean, he'll still be in the England squad. That's supposed to be someone who came through the ranks, knows that United's struggling, which you are.
Yeah.
And then he's got examples of like Rasmus Højlund. You've got examples of Garnacho, young players who are contributing, that are putting effort in, and you can see the positive effect that has. You're starting to rack up wins, and he's doing that. You were hanging on against Luton, hanging on, and I wouldn't even describe that as 10% effort. That was nothing.
Yeah, that
I would have contributed more than that, and I fucking
What was
terrible.
that stat when we watched the game? It was like after Hoyland's when Luton scored their first, it was like they had like 6, 7 shots, 3 on target. United had like none after these goals. It was like,
honestly.
this is Luton. Like, yeah, fair play, they're doing all right, but this is Luton.
We concede way too many shots.
Yeah, you take
like,
back shots, man.
way
100.
too many shots.
What was it? 100.
100.
100 shots conceded in
Back-
our last, I think, our last
just
5
run that
games.
back. Do that again. 100 shots in 5 games.
In
The
5
thing is, this
games.
ain't even. What's annoying me is like it's not even like a few games. It's like it's almost like a feature of how United play. It's like we just let like mid-table teams come to stadium and have a go, and I'm like, what's this about? And actually, the only time we ever turn up is when we go down. It's like, and then we're like, oh, let's start playing some football. It's almost like, what's Ten Hag telling these players? Like, there's got to be a message going. We can't always have to go down to start showing up. It's not like he always comes out saying, oh, we showed great character to come back. Why aren't we showing great character from the beginning? Why do we have to go down?
Sorry, I'm just laughing what you said about mid-table teams. Did you see what Fulham put on their Twitter page?
Oh, I don't want to
After beat you as 2-1, they were this is why they call it Theatre of Dreams. Fulham, you know?
Yeah.
Fulham were
saying that.
disrespectful.
Fulham, they're disrespectful.
Well, you know what, Josh, it is a question then, right? Because obviously we're talking that the back end's getting a little bit better. Who's to blame for this? Where is the blame here? Is it with the manager? Is it with the players? Is it with the board? Who's to blame for the situation Man United's in?
I think it's a mixture of both. So Is Ten Hag purely the answer to the downfall or the lack of consistent performances? I'd probably be saying no. He's not only the answer, but then also the players. I see a lot of them players who would easily throw their tools or would easily throw the manager under the bus or whatever you want to call it. Like your maybe Maguire's. Like I think Bruno. Did you see? I think you showed me that clip before. It might have been here.
I don't think Maguire would throw a manager on the bus. I think all the abuse he's been taking, fair play to how professional he's been.
Heat to then
To take that
continue
heat.
to show up.
I think he's
and
probably
give
one of the
100%.
most professional in your squad right now.
Yeah.
Maybe not Maguire then, but like there's definitely like the culprits in that team that would throw the manager under the bus. But in terms of trying to answer the question as to who is the culprit for the whole kind of situation at United, I'd say it's a mixture of the manager and the players. I don't think there's any one party that I can put all the blame on, because if it was as easy as going he's the problem, or obviously this group of players is the problem, like obviously it would be changed a lot faster. But you can't just change everything in the space of 1-2 windows.
But it's not 1 or 2 windows. It's been 10 years.
Yeah, but obviously Ten Hag's not been there for that 10 years. So obviously what we've got now is obviously, yes, it's previous managers, players, plus what Ten Hag has brought in as well.
I would say this as well, just to add on that. I don't think it's Ten Hag's fault at all. I know a lot of people want to criticize Ten Hag, but we made the point last time is because of injuries, we're one of the teams who haven't been able to field the same 11. We're like one of the lowest in terms of rankings, in terms of teams who haven't been able to field the same 11. I think only 5 times or 6 times. And I'm thinking, how much of a tune can he get out of like 18, 19-year-olds? We've got like senior players like
Quite a significant one, apparently.
We just saw the final.
What? Yeah. Okay. But
It's getting to the point where I feel like injury. We can't even talk about injuries anymore, because like Brighton had the same stat as you.
Had like half their squad missing.
yeah, and how Brighton doing?
They're top of they're
I'm sure only 5 points behind us.
How
Sure,
many
Brighton are
points?
5 points behind us.
Yeah,
It's fucking excuses. I'm sick of it now. Like it's injury. Like you play for Man United. Like
There's no
I know,
pressure.
I know it's not the Man United, but you still should have the privilege, and to be in that position. Like Marcus Rashford, 350k, not fucking good enough.
But you know what? I think another thing is your manager clearly shows a lack of backbone.
Cojones.
In all honesty, because look at it. Rashford didn't show up in a previous game, got slated for it, didn't get dropped because they dealt with it internally. Then he goes on a night out and deliberately misses training. It's not like he went on a night out in Manchester. He flew to a different country. He actively booked it.
Man's
When you
wild
know
card
what,
with the
fuck
Johns.
United, I'm going to book to miss training. He pre-planned it. He pre-planned missing training, and then after all of that, then gave no effort whatsoever in a game that you had to win because you were chasing top 4, which is now out of your reach. When you were chasing it, he gave you nothing, and you pay him 350k a week, and that's okay because he's a Man United boy, and that's fine. Eric Ten Hag doesn't need to do anything because he dealt with it internally. That is a lack of a backbone. He should be nowhere near. He shouldn't even be in the reserves. He should be lucky that he gets to clean up the locker room. The amount of disrespect he's shown your club, and you're sitting here, it's like, it's fine. It's not fine. That is.
I'm not saying it's
the
fine.
That is the most unprofessional.
I'm not saying it's fine.
I've ever
but
seen
you
someone
gotta, you gotta. So I would say this, right? Just on, and I totally agree with most of the points you've said. in terms of-
Most.
No, well, let me land midair. Come on, let me come
He could be
down.
there. Get out of here, man.
I'm
was
saying,
Rashford.
yeah, unexcusable to go to Northern Ireland and partying, and then you're gonna deliberately miss training. Obviously we heard talks about the drinks and even drugs, which I'm surprised that wasn't even blown up a little bit more, because there was a lady who obviously
Apparently, he didn't even know her. He just took her to the party.
yeah, and then they were she was talking about how like there was drugs there, and I'm like, how is that not being picked up more? But anyway, that's beside the point. So that's inexcusable. And I don't think it's that Ten Hag doesn't have a backbone. He's probably looking at that squad, and he's like, right, we don't have many options here. Yeah. He's seen that Rashford is able to perform at a very high level, which he showed last year. He's like, we don't have many things. He's dealt with it internally, and we've seen that he's able to drop big players. Maybe the only thing that he's thinking, Ten Hag is like, right, let's give him some leeway.
Leeway.
How long is
Wait,
leeway?
I know. Wait. And then he's gonna be there like, hopefully he can get back to the levels he was last season. And with Rashford, you never know. He might have personal issues
The
going
leeway's
on.
the
You know?
seeds of Rashford.
I heard things about family, about his missus. So
Fuck that. He's on 350k a week. You should turn up every single
no, but
week.
that doesn't excuse that doesn't solve
This is
your
another problem
issues.
with your club.
What?
To sit here and say, "Oh yeah, but you know what? He could be good." He's giving you nothing.
He's been at 8
even at the
seasons now.
games. Ross Bartley walked past him, and even it was looking at him like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
And I was looking at the screen going, "What's going on?"
I know, but we can't. So, but
you're saying,
but-
"Oh yeah."
No, but
you would
Ten
do that
Hag,
with a
Ten Hag hasn't.
17-year-old.
But the thing, I think one of the things you can't actually say is Ten Hag doesn't have a backbone because he's shown many a times to have a backbone with Ronaldo, with Sancho. He even dropped Varane for a long time. So with the situation with Rashford, I don't know why. There might be some other variables, but I don't think Ten Hag's the type of manager to feel like that he can't drop a player because he's shown it numerous times that no one's undroppable. We dropped Cristiano Ronaldo.
Then,
So you think Rashford isn't undroppable, but Cristiano Ronaldo is?
well, evidently he's proven he isn't.
Well, that's why I'm saying that there's got to be more to this story that we don't know. We're only seeing a little bit of the story because if he's shown to drop Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the best player that we've ever seen. I don't think so. I think it's Messi, but people can argue that he's the best player that they've ever seen. If he can drop him, Marcus Rashford is droppable as well. The reasons why he's doing it and not doing it, we don't know, and we're not privy to.
But
We're
the
only
fact
privy
is,
to a little
like,
bit of
the
information.
players that he has these issues with
Yeah.
are the ones that have publicly criticised him. Ronaldo publicly criticised him.
Not before he dropped it.
Sancho
After he dropped him.
publicly criticised him.
After he dropped him.
Like, you're saying, like, oh, he's got a backbone. This is another issue then, right? Because you're saying he's got a backbone because he dropped this player and that player. How many players has he fallen out with? How many players do we see another scandal of the fact he's fallen out with someone else?
So what point do we start saying you're the problem?
So either
Well-
his man management is so bad that he has no relationships, or he doesn't have the ability to manage them anyway because Rashford just does whatever the fuck he wants. He doesn't care.
Like, how many games have United controlled from fucking start to finish? How many games? I don't know how many games I can sit here and go this that we've controlled from the minute we kicked
We're
off.
looking at back in Fergie days for that.
No, I'm talking under Ten Hag. How many
Ten Hag.
games have we controlled under Ten Hag from start to finish? Like, even the Fulham game the other day, after the first 20 minutes, I was like, yeah, Fulham are absolutely having us there. They're popping us like on the attack.
100
Like,
back shots, man.
I don't see a playing style. I don't know what like, are we a team that's direct? Are we a team that plays that from the back? Are we a team that likes to like let teams come to us and then we'll transition? Like, I don't see a playing style. I don't know what the playing. I don't know what the. I don't see it. I don't know what the.
It's the same old story from United. Is it has to get better. That's all that ever comes out. Is it has to get better,
And you can't just.
but it
play on
never
hope.
gets better.
That's the
I mean,
because
but it has though. It has.
Has it?
So let me say this right. So Ten Hag last season, most people say he done a very good job. Finished third, got to the final of the FA Cup, won a cup, and we had good results like beating Barcelona in the Europa League, right? So and with
Nah. Talk about the full season. What about the big boys? We forget the 7-0 yeah to Liverpool.
okay, yeah. We
We just go brush past that.
okay. I'm
Haaland
highlighting
and
the
Foden
positives,
dunking
but-
hat tricks on you, man.
But I think the general consensus is he had a good season last season. I agree, I think that. So I'm thinking you don't go from having a season like that, delivering silverware, which we hadn't had in 6 years, to being an incompetent manager. There's something just rotten at the core of United. And all the pundits say this, it's something rotten at United. And I don't think the fix is always sacking a manager. He's shown to be a competent manager. And now this season, obviously we're underperforming, but I think there's a lot of variables out of control. I think there is some things to do with him, but I don't think he's the problem. And I think it would be a massive mistake to sack him. Because number one, who are you going to get?
Yeah, I
And
was
two,
gonna
he's
say,
actually
I'll back you on
shown
that.
to be a competent manager.
I wouldn't get rid of him yet. I'd give him one more season. I want to see
One more
support
season.
around him first before you get rid of him.
Exactly. Yeah, same.
We finished.
Because at the moment, it's just putting like makeup on crap right now. It's like, let's see what he can do with the support, and then we'll be like, great, we've given you the support. Let's see what we can do now.
We finished right at the bottom of the Champions League against Copenhagen and Galatasaray.
Yeah.
What the
Hold
fuck is that?
on with that.
What is that?
A Galatasaray, by the way, that then got absolutely pumped in the Europa League. They didn't just get beat; they got absolutely hammered.
What score did it finish?
I think one leg was 4-1.
4-1. And
4-1.
Galatasaray start fighting.
Like they didn't just get beat; they got destroyed.
If you get
the
put in
Europa
that
League.
group, you accept Bayern are going to win the group, and then from there you're like, right, I'm sure we can get second
by the
place.
also by the team that we beat. But that's all right.
I'm agreeing
That's all right.
with,
Don't
I'm
worry
agreeing
about
with Amer a bit more, right? Because obviously you know my thoughts about United, but the Champions League games that you did play, there was somewhere Ten Hag coached you guys to like a 3-0 win. And then you got people like Onana that's like costing you. So you can't say that whole thing was the coach. He did his job.
Yeah.
Haaland was scoring.
It swings around a bit. It's like
So
Onana
it's like, I won't say it was
got you
100%
3
Ten
points.
Hag.
Said Haaland, you mean Højlund?
said-
Højlund, sorry, Højlund.
Oh.
Sorry, Højlund.
I wish.
And then if you look at like Onana has also won them points. Like at Copenhagen, he got you those 3 points.
But
both
how many
Champions
times
League.
has he cost us compared to how many times he's got?
Yeah, I agree. Like, do I think Onana was the ideal signing for you? I think he's becoming better. I think more recently you're starting to see the Onana that you wanted to sign.
12 games left.
Yeah, I know, and I think the damage is done at this point. I don't think you're going to get top 4.
I think
Nah, that's
someone-
done.
Yeah, I think one of the I saw this thing is like maybe Onana was so good at Inter. It's actually not down to him. It's the defense at Inter. Was it you who was telling me, E-Ray, like they've got like a ridiculous amount of
Yeah,
clean sheets
because right now, this season, like, Jan Sommer is, I think, the number 1 keeper in Europe for, like,
Yeah.
clean sheets and stuff. It's
So
ridiculous.
it's like it's like no matter who you put in that Inter goalkeeper, it's like they do the best in that league. It's like, well, is it Onana or is it the fact that their defense is just ridiculous? We'll see.
Well, again, you say that. I think your defensive record is actually quite good.
You know, our goal difference is 0.
Yeah, it's,
Well, I never do that. I never do
Wow, is it
Wow.
not negative now? Because you just lost 2-1.
I mean, it is
It's
now.
-1.
It is now. It was 0. I think it was 36.
Oh, Fulham put you negative goal difference. Man, they just
Also,
don't stop disrespecting.
I want to
you.
say, yeah, I'm so happy for Iwobi and Bassi scoring those goals as 2 Nigerians. Only because
Bassey, my
when
guy.
they lost the AFCON final, the hate they got on social media was ridiculous. Iwobi had to come off Instagram for a bit because he was getting so much hate from
And
the
You know
Nigerian
what's
fans.
great? Like the
So-
reaction in Africa sometimes for things is crazy.
Yeah, it's
Like we get upset, but like if Africans, if you are in an African nation and you lose or play poorly in AFCON, it's not a rock you can hide under.
Bondi shots. Oh, rubbish is this?
You know, there's one lucky man.
West man.
Oh my god, we're gonna get cancelled.
he's Nigerian.
Oh,
It's
they
all
said,
good.
yeah, I know. If I did that, whoa, that's just
Yeah,
game over.
my uncles. My uncles are like, none of you should play football. You don't know how to play. Go play basketball.
He's carrying on.
You know, there's one lucky man at the moment, and Rashford has deflected all the attention that's been on him.
Yeah,
Mr.
you know
Michael
what?
Beale.
Since we're talking about managers, that is.
Michael Beale.
You know
Next
what?
one up.
I'm gonna let you guys discuss this before I get into that.
So
have you guys seen the situation of what's happening?
So-
with Michael Beale?
yeah, so I've seen the situation, obviously, with the player comes off and there's not much like attention or kind of like anything towards like shaking his hand or obviously praising him, but
It looks like he actually sidesteps him. It
That's
looks
like he
like
just
he
ignores
moves
him.
away from him.
for someone like me and Amar, who, no disrespect to like SPFL, but we don't really watch it as much as what obviously you watch it. So
Yeah, the competition might be too much for him.
so like during his tenure at Rangers, what was the situation? Did like the Rangers fans hate him? Did they love him at first? Like,
You know what? I'm going to try and be a little bit more diplomatic here before I really unleash on him. Tactically, Michael Beale's quite good. Like, in terms of the tactic, in terms of his football understanding and his knowledge,
He was number
it's
2 to
actually not
Gerrard,
that bad.
right?
He's
When
number
he-
2
when
Gerrard,
you,
yeah.
When you won the league.
Yeah, he was number 2
He
Gerrard.
was
Like,
praised for like being the
his tactics and his ability, like, yeah, people are saying, oh, he had a short time at QPR, but even if you have no knowledge of football, if you have an inability to manage, you don't get any results. Like, he has the highest win rate at Rangers, which, trust, I'm not defending him by any means, and I'm about to get onto that, but he has the highest win rate of any manager at Rangers. The second place is Alan McCoist, but he was in the lower leagues, so he should be. He got QPR playing well. Like, in terms of tactics and his understanding of football, it is good. But he is the single biggest snake, and I mean this with all conviction. He turned up when it looked like Van Bronckhorst was going to get sacked. He was in the stands watching Rangers because his name was linked to it. And apparently, and I don't know how true this is, so apparently, he was texting players that currently played in that Rangers squad saying what he would do different and why what Van Bronckhorst was doing was wrong. He hadn't even been sacked yet.
that's
did you see the Twitter account?
Networking.
Yeah,
I mean,
another like apparently, because I don't know if you saw this, but apparently he he created there's this count called like Player ID or something like that, and this count has been defending Michael Beale like as some bizarre thing. Like it was looking at like the final games he had on one season with Rangers and like all the games with his others and adding up all the points and being like, oh, Rangers actually had more points than Celtic over that period, even though it's not a season.
Yeah.
Like it means nothing. But like they would defend them to the hilt. And then like when it was that player not getting a handshake, this account was posting pictures of like the full pitch going like, oh, but there's a game on, that's why he's distracted. Like, and it turns out apparently that account was ran by Michael Beale. Which, you know what, fair play. That is funny, but what a dick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I want to say quickly, just before we move on from Michael Beale, did you watch Michael Beale?
no.
They were bang average. Like,
He was getting a tune out of the players.
yeah, but they were bang. It was like one of those ones where, like an undefeated run, but with 10th. Oh, after 10 games, was still 10th. That type of thing.
That is the kind of manager he is.
I think Rangers, right, they thought they could luck out because obviously it worked with Gerrard, and it was like,
I would argue it didn't work with Gerrard. He played for 9 trophies and won 1. Yeah, but you know what? We got a good European run. He started to make us a European force, but 9 trophies.
'cause Celtic had a big
1
bounce.
trophy out of 9.
Is that all he won?
Terrible return for a Rangers manager. Terrible. You find me any Rangers manager that gets as much time as he got, like, and I understand, you know, the situation we were in, coming back through and building up towards it. We had to get back to the point of challenging Celtic, but I would argue Gerrard wasn't really that successful. Like, even on the season that we won,
Invincible.
yeah, on the league, yeah, we did. Yeah, we didn't lose a single game. But even then, seeing that season where we went invincible, won the league, he lost both cups. He got put out by St Johnston. Your ambulance chasers. Do you know what I mean? He got disrespected by them twice. Do you know what I mean? Like, so to me,
W, come here.
yeah, exactly. But that's the point. Like, when Celtic collapsed so catastrophically that season, which they did, Neil Lennon was sacked. They were throwing barriers. It was a delightful time to be alive. I was really relishing it. But anyway, he still lost both cups. He lost what was a 1-horse race to himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And still failed to win. He didn't win a single cup. Van Bronckhorst won the first Scottish Cup we'd had in about 10 years. And then Big Phil's won the League Cup.
If you turn this league around from the position that he was in, that's got to be one of like the best seasons you've seen in a while. From
Not if
the
we don't win it.
no, I said if you turn it around and
And then win
winning
it.
the league.
Oh, listen. See if Big Phil goes on for the triple. See if Big Phil goes on for the quadruple. Listen, I'll dissolve. I'll melt.
That's a quadruple.
Listen, Flop, come outside. let me show Big Phil how it's done. Right?
When's this old firm?
7th of April, I think.
7th of April,
He was 6th by the 7th.
We will be there.
Listen, this will be a 3-man
I mean, I just
podcast if we
want- I
lose.
just want- 'cause
And
you
then-
know, we're talking about quadruples. I just want them to face Liverpool fully fit.
While we're talking about
Nightmares again.
Yeah, we did. We lost 7-1.
Forget
But we were 1-0 up.
Let's forget Michael Beale, right? Let's talk about a proper up-and-coming manager that everyone's gassing about, Mr. Xabi Alonso. Like, obviously, it looks like Liverpool's going to win the league now, right? Having a fantastic season, haven't lost a game yet. Where do you think he's going to go?
I think he's going to Bayern, you know.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon he's going to take the route across the way to Germany to Bayern Munich.
Across the way to he's in Germany.
Yeah, but I mean across the way. Across the way to Bayern Munich.
It's going to go right across the water to the same country.
I
think-
a circle. Then I'm like,
Fly out
I think
over the UK back to Germany.
I think Liverpool's a bit too soon yet for him.
Really?
I
think so.
agree. Yeah.
Like
Is it? But
No, I
Bayern
don't
Munich
think it's-
isn't.
I don't think it is.
I think
Is Bayern Munich arguably not a harder level? Like, because you're expected, like, Liverpool are expected to do well in the Champions League, but if you got put out the quarterfinals, the semis, as a Liverpool manager, probably wouldn't be that outrageous.
Yeah.
Liverpool fans might argue that they should be challenging for finals, and I get that. But if you're the Bayern Munich manager and you're struggling early doors in the Champions League, you're under a lot of pressure quickly, because the idea is that you should be cleaning up the league.
yeah, but
Do you know what I mean?
imagine what he could do with Bayern's, with their facilities, their resources, their money. Like he'll have Kane, Musiala, Kimmich if they all stay. Like imagine what he can do with that as opposed to what he's got to leave.
But
Because
then arguably going into Liverpool, he is effectively going to have a clean slate, because I think quite a few key components of Jurgen Klopp's team are going to need replaced.
Yeah, but I'd say this: I don't think he'll have a clean slate, because let's say, for instance, like they won the League Cup today, and they win. They're chasing a quadruple. Let's say they win the Premier League or the Europa League.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh, they won't win that.
no. We'll see.
Big Phil's already got
Oh
one
my
hand on it.
goodness.
Like let's stay in reality. Huh?
But let's say they win like another big cup. Liverpool fans aren't gonna have the same expectations for Xavi as they did when Klopp came in. When Xavi comes in, they'll be like, right, we're a winning team now. We want to continue this, right? And with, let's say, then Xavi comes in, and then with the investment that Man City are likely going to make, you have teams like Arsenal looking to bolster as well if they don't win anything. You have us trying to do something.
Okay.
Nah, no.
Okay.
3 years time, yeah, we're coming for everything.
Errors come
So
to
I
life,
think
bro.
there'll be such huge amount of pressure, and we know Liverpool. You've mentioned this, E-Ray. Liverpool don't give their managers a lot of money to spend. Yeah, the reason why Klopp started spending was the sale of people like Coutinho. So if he's gonna come in expecting to start competing with the cities and Arsenal as well, but not getting the funding that City and Arsenal do, but still having that expectations from Liverpool, I think it's gonna just be a bit too much for him.
But if he gets offered the Liverpool job and turns it down, is he shutting the door to Liverpool completely?
I respect him more.
If Liverpool come in and say, look, we need you to come in, we think you're the right man to take this forward, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that, would Liverpool then go back in for him later? Or is that like a...
I suppose it depends how they mutually kind of have that conversation. It might be a matter of, I don't know, he might deem the Bayern Munich, obviously let's say that let's say both jobs have offered him the managerial role. It'll depend which one he deems is the one that he feels is the most comfortable one to go into. I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit on Aymar's side in the sense of the expectation from the Liverpool fans, in the sense of if they do win the league and the League Cup, they ain't going to settle for top four if like Xabi Alonso comes in.
Yeah.
They ain't going to settle for top four.
Look at it this way though, like say he wins the league with Leverkusen, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've won the league against the Bayern team that's dominated that league for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
11.
11.
Yeah.
11, yeah.
Wow.
11 league
So
titles.
that's
And
that's
crazy.
a farmer's
That's a farmer's league.
Yeah.
Well, that's not about to not be.
bringing him like he's on a high right now. If I'm Liverpool, I'm like, cool, let's grab him whilst he's had this brilliant season. Let's grab him. But then like it's a bit like Andrew Tottenham right now.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone really know what Tottenham's expectations is? Like Tottenham this season, from like fans I've spoken to, they're just happy to see good football for that first season because of where they've come from. I feel with Liverpool, they'd give someone like Xabi Alonso time because they've seen his work. This is his second season, Leverkusen?
That's his first, isn't it? It's his
No, I
debut.
think last season they were like 16th and they got him to Europe. And this season they've taken
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, if Xabi Alonso goes to Liverpool, I feel like Liverpool will be a club to give him time. Like he's won Champions League with Liverpool. Am I correct? So like he does have like
That I suppose that backing from fans.
yeah, he still has that backing and stuff for that. They've seen
think-
what he's at Leverkusen. He's not actually really spent as much at Leverkusen as well. All he's done is he brought in Grimaldo on a free, who's had a crazy season.
Yeah.
A fullback. He bought Xhaka from Arsenal for 24 mil.
And he's been an excellent.
Yeah, he's bought Boniface from like the Belgium league, and I think
That's not a real name.
When did he get Frimpong from Celtic? Was that before him?
That might be last. Frimpong's been there quite a while.
Oh, has he? Okay.
Yeah, from Celtic, he's been there quite a while.
Did he sign Xhaka?
Yeah, he's signed
Yeah,
Xhaka.
did,
Yeah.
And like he's a manager that's actually used what he's had,
Yeah.
and he just instilled belief into the team and stuff like that. And I feel like with Liverpool, they're gonna have much better players. I'm like, I don't think it'll take as long to. Obviously, there's gonna be more teams to compete with, but give him time. I think he'll succeed at Liverpool. But personally, I'd rather him stay at Leverkusen one more season,
I was going to say that.
just because like you've won the league now. It's a bit like, let me just show you guys that I'm the real deal. Like this ain't just a fluke, because everyone's gonna be there like, if it's a fluke, people be like, oh, Bayern had a bad season, that's why Leverkusen went on. No, let me show you I could do this again, or let me compete, and then you'll see that okay, this guy's consistent. Like he still maintains. That
Some
standard.
say, and about once we've left this podcast and we leave, Ear will still be sitting here talking about Xabi Alonso. Man's still going. And then he tries to do something. He's like, give me a minute. Hold on, let me just land. Right?
you are spitting
20 minutes later, he's still going.
The fans
But
don't know about
I do
Xabi
agree
Alonso,
with what
like
you're
Big
saying.
Phil.
Yeah.
I do agree with what you're saying. Josh, where do you think he should go to Bayern?
I'd love to see him stay. However, in the world of managers, normally when they get an offer as lucrative as Liverpool or Bayern, they're going to take one of them two. I think he's going to go to Bayern Munich.
Okay. Where's he going? I want a
Bayern.
commitment.
I reckon Bayern.
I was thinking I was going to get something in the middle. Yeah, I'll definitely go to one of them.
He'll spend a half season at each team. 6 months at Bayern, 6 months at Liverpool.
Story for another day, but he's going Barcelona.
Manchester ahead of that.
We'll do a separate reel and I'll explain why.
To be fair, since we're talking about Liverpool, let's talk about their main rival. I suppose if you want to call them that, it's kind of not really been it, but point deductions for Everton. There's talks about another point deduction coming. There's actually talks, and this is a weird one because it was an Everton fan explaining it to me, so I don't know how accurate this is. But apparently they're appealing the original 10 points, which is going to get reduced to 5 points. So they're going to get 5 points back. And then the next charge they're going to get is going to be for 5 points. So they're just going to get the 5 points taken off them again. So they'll be in the exact same position. Apparently that's what's happening with these two charges.
It's still smart to appeal it because instead of losing 15, they just, because if they get another 5 points deducted, that's them done.
Nah, I don't think it is.
What? Luton are coming up.
Yeah.
And they got a game
With
in
another
hand as
5
well.
points.
You know what?
15 points in the whole season.
I think
They don't have
Luton is
that
probably
kind
one
of
of the teams
I like Sean Dyche. Like, the guy's got a track record of
clutching it. Yeah.
clutching it. Yeah.
Not with a 15-point deduction.
Yeah, true.
If he keeps them up like after last
I would
season
say
again,
this has
Get
to
him
be one of the
tonight.
greatest achievements in Premier League history.
Sam Allardyce, get outside.
Yeah, exactly. No football tactical mind like him. But like, I feel like with Everton and with the situation and points deductions, like if Luton go down, right, I would think that's probably the saddest relegation ever because Luton have been in, like Luton have challenged big teams and United. Big teams like the Chase City. I think did they get a draw against you?
No, we beat him. Declan Rice.
Oh, yeah.
They drew against Liverpool.
They drew against Liverpool.
At
That
home.
was it. At home, like they've
not for
got
everyone.
good result, and then sometimes they've lost games by 1 goal, like 3-2s and 2-1s. Like it would probably be the saddest relegation because arguably I'd say that they don't deserve to be relegated.
When it,
I don't think it'd be that sad. They got 100 M's to come up. They've bought
They
a
don't
load of
deserve to be
players.
relegated. They didn't
You
get enough
didn't
points to
spend
stay
well.
up.
If you go down, that's on you.
Yeah, you didn't say you didn't get enough points.
Yeah,
You deserve to go down.
Like, I won't be sad. I'll be like, you deserve to go down.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Listen, right, just
Do me
keep
a
charging
favour.
Everton
Do
till
me a
they
favour,
till
get out
look
of
safe.
here, man. You know what I'm saying?
when it comes to point deductions, though, what's your take on it? Do you think it's a fair punishment? Like, because in terms of the players haven't done anything. Like, they're just there to play and to obviously get results. But like, as a punishment, do you deem it as a fair punishment?
Yeah, they did it. Like, it's not a question of like they committed the crime, and one of the punishments for that crime is a points deduction. Now, whether I feel it's the player's responsibility or their fault, fine. It's not. They didn't make the decision, but the board were aware that what the decisions they were making was going to impact on that. So the team deserves the punishment. Does the players getting punished and minus the points? Yeah, I can understand the argument. Like, I wouldn't strip titles from a team because the team won the titles,
Yeah.
fair and square.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
I would never strip titles from a team. I'm saying that's a Rangers fan. Like, never strip titles. But the fact is, they did it. It's not a question of whether they did or not. It's like Man City with their 115 charges, right? Man City have done it. So if they get a punishment, they deserve that punishment. So
The verdict's still out on Man City.
All right,
I know.
right. Let's do this quickly, right?
He's got one in now.
So Rangers, how many points clear?
2 now.
2. All right.
Asked me yesterday, it was 5.
Say FFP come for you guys from something you did 5 years ago, right? You're in the title race right now, and they gave you 10 points right now. Is that fair in the current team?
But yeah, they did it.
Even though those players that are playing weren't involved.
But it's not a punishment for those players. It's a punishment
As
for
a
the
club.
club.
Yeah.
And as a
We
result,
had this
of happened-
conversation. Surely, like stuff like transfer embargo will make more sense because, like,
Is it?
I agree with you. It's like, say, like for example, like the Everton players now, the ones here that actually trying to get like before the points deduction, they were top half, or like behind Chelsea, something like that.
They were like...
There was that
yeah,
11th, 12th.
Yeah, yeah.
Like some of these players have never seen that high in the league before, so they actually had like a good season. Obviously, without point deduction, and then I agree with Josh where it's like, yeah, I know the club should get punished, but like,
But let
these
me
players,
ask
like-
you, if a team's committed a crime 5 seasons ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you've breached FFP, so you've used it to your advantage 5 seasons ago. You can't retrospectively punish that squad,
Yeah.
but you can make sure that they're going to feel the punishment this season.
Mm-hmm.
So it still impacts them on the pitch because they took an advantage 5 years ago in that scenario. So they got the advantage then, so they're getting the disadvantage now. That's the point. Like, if City get found guilty, which, whether they do or not, maybe a whole nother podcast.
Money talks,
But
baby.
if they get found guilty, they used 115 times to their advantage. Like, I think one of them's like Pellegrini was getting paid way more than what Mancini was getting paid way more than what reported. It was like 2 different clubs.
Yeah.
Would they have attracted him as a manager if they weren't given the same money? Would they have then won those league titles? So do I think it's fair? 100%, because they had the advantage.
Yeah.
So they deserved the punishment.
And you got to think also, some of the FFP rules that they break could be to kind of acquire some of the players that are currently playing right now in the squad. So I feel like a transfer embargo isn't a strong enough punishment.
They've done it. They've
What-
got the players now.
Now think about it, you know what? Yeah, Everton are funky because like you knew this was coming, and then these men still try to get people like James Rodriguez into the club, Carlo Ancelotti. I'm like, brother, where's this bread coming
but
from?
see, the thing is, like, if you know,
Like, you know you're getting caught. The man's like, you know what? Let's just spend.
see if you're
Let's
like,
just
see
go
if you've
while
done
it's
it.
here.
Hey, man's like, yeah, me. I'm
If
gonna
you're
get caught.
committing it, if you're committing it, you might as well commit it.
Yeah,
Go all the way.
See if you breached it by £1 or breached it by 100 million. Like, I think the punishment's still the same either way. So if I breached FFP, I'm just going for it.
If that was the case, I would be
fuck it.
100% do that.
Get
but-
Mbappe in. 100 mil just to come to the club and look at it.
I think theirs has been more towards the stadium and all the money that's gone into that as well, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was reading the rules and I don't know if infrastructure directly impacts it, because there's certain things that don't. Like, women's football doesn't. So the cost of, so you can spend as much as you want and it doesn't feed into FFP.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, women's football is like a separate. I mean, they might have their own FFP maybe, but it doesn't directly impact the club's FFP. And I don't know if infrastructure and facilities does.
What did you read, Josh, about the infrastructure?
Hang on 1 second. I was just going to ask another question based on the FFP. So, like, in terms of January, like Forest, Luton, Everton, say Sheffield United and Burnley, do you think them teams would have been scared of spending money in January on the basis of what could have happened in terms of?
Everyone was scared.
Yeah, that's
You
what I
saw
was
it.
thinking.
It's
The whole league was scared.
Like, there weren't many deals
You have
going.
to sell to buy, but then obviously because no one could buy, you can't sell.
But that is going to protect the longevity of the Premier League. Like, you can't keep having clubs like Aston Villa go out and spend 100 M's. They haven't, but like, we are approaching that point where they're going to have to. And then you're going to start very soon, if that carries on, you'd see clubs declaring bankruptcy. You would. They're not going to be able to. Your cities could continue to spend that, but your clubs like Brentford, they're not going to be able to keep up with that. They're not going to be able to throw that money out. Like, they're touting Ivan Toney for 100 M's, and you could say whether they rate him that. I think they're at the point where, like, fuck, if we're going to sell him, we're going to need that money.
Some FFP tax.
I feel like you're looking to Tony's 100 M's, but the Aston Villa thing, I think that was kind of like a let off only because the Grealish money.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, these clubs have to start selling players for
Teams
100
like
M's.
Newcastle are going to be like, like you're spending bread, but who's actually going? Like, who they brought in now? Tonali for what, 60 M's?
Yeah.
Isak, yeah.
That was
He's
like
that, sorry?
50 M's.
Barnes was like 35, 40.
Gordon.
Okay. And then they let go. Maxim.
Yeah,
It's
they've
a
not
bit-
sold anyone yet.
It's a bit like, okay,
Christmas.
what's going on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I say, to be fair, I don't know if you joke men could talk about FFP. You released Pogba on a free, signed him on 90 million, then released him on a free again. Like,
Say what you will, we haven't had any charges pressed against him.
yeah, I know.
And one of
That's
the
why you
things
paid the
that-
fine last season.
What's that?
You paid the fine last season.
Did we?
We'll confirm this after pop. I'm sure you guys paid the fine last season.
Maybe. But one of the things, like what Eric Ten Hag came out saying, and it's, I know that we're trying to follow the rules. Maybe we have, but nothing's come out yet. He said that everyone knew that he wanted a striker, but we had to follow FFP, so we couldn't get one in January. Because it would have been nice to have someone trained.
Well, Rasmus Højlund, 7 and 7.
Oh yeah, he has been bagging.
What do you think, Josh?
7 to 20.
You got to see if you say it's a difficult one. I swear.
In terms of what? So what is the exact like?
Like, with FFP, like, do you think it's a benefit that the FA are now pushing this so heavily in the Premier League? Do you think the punishments are fair? Do you think it's right that they're doing the things they're doing?
I'd say it's fair if it's purely based on, like, obviously, because you've said, like, you're not sure if infrastructure is included and stuff like that. If it's purely on player incomings, then 100% it's a fair punishment. Because if you've got teams like Man City who are spending hella money, like, and let's say if they're not bringing much in terms of their outgoings, which they have done recently, but anyway, I'd say it's a fair punishment. Otherwise, how are you going to be able to cope with obviously competing with Man City if they're spending and they're not getting the punishment for it? Because
Well,
I'm not going to talk about the 115 because there's people saying they're going to get pulled from the league. That's not going to happen. There's people saying transfer embargo. There's people saying they're going to get pulled out of European football. I don't know what's going to happen, but
It's
like
like you're from.
it's not going to happen.
No.
But
PSG, Barcelona, Man City, a couple seasons ago were all meant to be out, and then look at
I
that,
feel like if they have done 115 charges,
long day.
it's a long day. But I think that the punishment has to be like consecutive 10-point deductions for seasons, like 5 seasons. Each starts with 10-point deductions. Because if you were to look at, like, just use Man City example, if you were to look at the last 5-6 leagues that they've won, if you take 10 points off them, I think they've lost 4 out of the 5 of them. Because they've won by 1 point against Liverpool twice, so that's gone. Because they aren't recovering 9 points against that Liverpool team.
and then they won it by 5 last season.
And then they won it by 5 last season, so Arsenal have done it. Do you know what I mean? So you're stripped 3 league titles off them straight away. And then also, because it's 115 charges, like, there's other things I would throw in there. Like, I would throw transfer embargoes, I would throw removal from Europe. Like, they're not going to get relegated. That's not going to happen.
How can they? Because of course it's the FA charging them.
Yeah.
They don't. So UEFA is in charge of European football. Like
UEFA have their own FFP rules. So you assume if they've breached the FA's, they've probably breached UEFA's.
Oh, okay, got you. Because
I
I'm thinking,
assume
how's the
that's
FA
how they
gonna? Kick
But then
that
also,
thing?
isn't it up to the English FA basically get the spots and they assign them to the league positions?
Oh, okay.
So I think the FA can take that away again. So like, they're the ones that get the spots. So the FA, the UEFA, I think, turn around to the FA and say, you've got this many Champions League spots. And then the FA be like, right, teams that finish first, second, third, fourth, you'll represent us in Europe. They're your spots. So I think the FA can turn around and be like, fourth, you're not getting a Champions League spot anymore.
Okay.
I think there'd be uproar if they ever did do that, but that's it. Man United, we feel for you back in you go. I know you finished 7th.
I said top 4 in episode 1, but let's call that.
Listen,
So
right?
what?
I know. I don't know
I
why we
never
let
said
this
with
brush
chest,
away.
yeah.
Why we let
Speak
this
up.
brush
What you
away?
saying?
Man
Top what?
said, man was even on Wednesday. Man was saying, yeah, we'll still get top
Fam,
4.
you're letting some Australian from SPL come to our league and dunk on your head.
Disrespect.
Talk about Ange.
Oh.
Is he not? Oh, yeah, he's Australian. I was about to say, is he not from New Zealand? But do you know, who cares?
Do you know what? I'll say this.
Nah,
There's
top
still,
4 is done.
12 games left.
You can't be serious. You
12
think you're
games
still...
left.
And we got
A lot can happen in 12 games.
and we got the
Man's one
Manchester
step away
derby.
from
We're gonna
saying,
get
a late title charge.
United are gonna get battered next weekend. You know that, right? Away at the Etihad.
You know what? I have a feeling we're not.
No, you won't be battered. It'll just be like a nice 8-0, but it won't be a battering like. It'll be like.
But it's all right because you showed great character.
We'll give him one. We'll give him one.
And he sees the bigger picture.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all
Yeah.
about internal tactics.
I'm done with the bullshit that he comes out with. Like all these. I see the bigger picture. Like you just got beat off Fulham. You just got beat off
Good
Fulham.
question.
I was annoyed about his.
It pisses me off.
Did you take Thomas Tuchel?
Oh, that's a big clip. We've got 2 minutes left.
I got 2 minutes.
Yeah, yes or no?
I'm gonna need your help here.
Would you take Thomas Tuchel?
Personally, I wouldn't have Tuchel because
would.
of the problems he has with board members, and we've recently got a new nice shiny board, and I don't want him to start.
A nice shiny board.
Yeah,
Shiny Boldy on the touchline doing that again. You talk about shiny.
I'm gonna say no.
Cool. Okay.
Right, fair.
Well, obviously, we discussed a lot of different points, a lot of different views. Obviously, you guys at home can decide whether you think we're talking shit, whether you think we're making sense. I like to think I make sense anyway. But, let me know. Big Phil for the quadruple. I know you hear that. It's fine.
I want to throw in one more as well. Ten Hag, good or bad? Let me know.
Manchester derby predictions as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's just speak the game. Over and out.
All right,
Bye.
take care.